You want your work wardrobe to be stylish and comfortable. You also want it to be you. With creativity, convenience, and comfort, your goals, go online to Stitch Canvas to help you get dressed. Stitch Canvas lets you be your own designer. Create your own prints or browse thousands submitted by others. Select your print, style, and hit ship. Not sure which styles look best on you? Don't worry. Stitch Canvas will deliver sample garments free to your door. And if designing for others sounds fun, Stitch Canvas will even pay you a commission for your designs that others love. Go online today and make your work wardrobe work for you. Alrighty, y'all, that is my pitch, and it really hasn't changed a lot from last week. I was actually really happy with it. I think it kind of got everything across that I was hoping that it would. One thing that I did think about, though, when I was doing this again was should I mention something about my return policy in my pitch? Because people are buying custom things and they're a little bit nervous that, okay, so even if I know it fits because I tried on your sample garment, will I like it when it actually has my own design on it? You know, because sometimes you see stuff in stores, you're like, oh, it's so great, and then you try it on, you're like, oh, this doesn't look good, this color's horrible. So there is a risk inherent in getting custom clothes, even if you have picked out the style that you want. So there's definitely that. One thing, though, I actually ordered Warby Parker glasses this past week because I'm looking for new ones. And this kind of is what inspired me to do the sample garment stuff to begin with, because I feel like if I can try this stuff on here for free, I'm a lot more willing to take the risk on your company. So their return policy pamphlet actually had a really good line about, well, what if you don't return it? What if you just need to tweak it a little bit? Especially with glasses, because I know me, half the time my glasses are looking like this because I have to get them adjusted. So one concern I had was, what if they get here and they don't fit and I need to get them adjusted, just tweaked a little bit to fit right? How do I do that? Because there's not a Warby Parker store near me. There are a couple in other places, but not here near me. So they actually include like a nice blurb on the stuff that they send you when you're trying on glasses. And it talks about how if you get your glasses and they don't fit right, that you can go to any, glasses area. And sometimes they'll do it for free. And if they do, that's great. But sometimes they don't because you didn't buy it from them. They don't want to be responsible for some glasses you got somewhere else. And that makes sense too. Like I get why a business doesn't want to be just doing all these adjustments for free when you didn't buy them, your glasses from them. So Warby Parker actually says if you have to pay for a glasses adjustment at another store, another company, because ours didn't come to fit your face quite right, they'll actually give you a refund of what you paid, or a reimbursement for what you paid to get them adjusted if you do it within the first 30 days. So I thought that really made me feel good about ordering from them, because I have this, guarantee that if I'm out a little bit of money for the adjustment, then I'll actually get it back. So that was actually a really nice thing that they put in their shipping pamphlet. And it made me really think about my returns process for Stitch Canvas, because these are custom items, kind of like glasses, where you get your lenses, they're custom. But in the case of clothing, I said, my returns, do I want it to be you're just out the money and too bad if you don't like it? And that didn't sit well with me. So I kind of kept thinking about what can you do. And I'm thinking I'm at the point where I'd like to give the option of people to exchange their custom items for store credit if they don't like it. So if I get a shirt and I hate it, I can send it back to Stitch Canvas and I will have that amount of credit in my account. Or I could do like a full exchange. Maybe someone else has an item that's a similar style and size that I would get, and I like it. I can submit whatever I didn't like and exchange it for something else someone else didn't like. I don't know how feasible that is, but I feel like that could be an option if you're okay maybe not getting something immediately, even though you returned your stuff, you're waiting around to see what you like. So in terms of returns for custom items, that was something that I thought of too, was doing the exchange route or getting a certain percentage of your money back, but maybe not all of it. So anyway, Warby Parker kind of gave a money guarantee if you need to get certain things adjusted. So that kind of got me thinking, do I need to put something in my pitch about returns? And I think I'm just going to wait and do it their style and just put it on the mailing information that comes with the sample garments or in the FAQ section of the website. So that's my little spiel about Warby Parker, and I was inspired by all their try it on for free stuff. So that really is a big component of Stitch Canvas that I definitely got the idea from them. Going on to revenue model, which was one of the big topics of this week. This is really a direct asset sale. There's nothing fancy about leasing or renting or intellectual property per se in these items. There are custom designs that people are submitting that they're going to let other people use if they get a commission. So you can maybe make the argument that there's some licensing happening, but the licensing actually is not a form of my revenue. It would be a form of just how people are getting some commissions going for the stuff that people like. And I do need to research that further, because when you get into the licensing and using other people's designs, I need to get into all the legalese of how that would actually work when people are submitting custom designs that they're okay with other people buying, because they want, again, some of the money to work for them. So that is something I need to look into more. But in terms of revenue, it's pretty straightforward. You obviously are selling an asset, which is the clothing, for a margin, which is going to be determined not only by what it talks about of what you think things are valued at, but also, obviously you need to make money above what you're selling it for, or above what the cost is to get back some of that shipping fees and all that stuff. So I'm going to start with talking about packaged products also. Single items you can buy, hopefully outfit bundles when I get my pricing down a little bit more in terms of per garment costs, and then quantity discounts once people know that they like certain styles. Just to give you an example, this is the shirt that kind of got Stitch Canvas started. It was my llama shirt from Banana Republic, because I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I wish I had this in like 20 other different styles that were cool. So what do? I buy the same shirt in like 20 other styles. So it's really the same thing. It's just different prints. So that's really my my goal with Stitch Canvas, is people find styles they like and just get it in all kinds of fun prints. It makes getting ready easy, but it also still keeps you unique. So that is really what started it. So if I, Catherine, I'm going on Stitch Canvas, and I know I love this classic style shirt in, whatever color or whatever style, I'm going to commit to buying 5 of these, cuts of shirt. So that would be, package discount option, or a quantity discount if you like X fit, and you just have these credits for a while. And as you get stuff to submit to print on them, then you use them up that way. So that is my idea of the quantity discount. Let's see. Also, pricing. I got some more information about what people spend on clothes, because I know I did my survey and people said generally they do like $50 or less, was pretty common answer for my survey. I had a couple people say they did, 150 plus, over 200, but for the most part, most people said 50 or less. So I felt like that's what I wanted to keep all of my garments in that range. I didn't really want to go over that. Average man spends $323 a year, according to research. An average woman spends $571. So that still aligns with my, poster child, customer segment. Katie is what I named her in my last video. So she obviously spends more money than her male counterparts. And also she is going to still want to stick within a budget around $50 or less. Again, slightly more, but I didn't want people to feel like they're blowing their whole clothing budget on one thing for my store. So if I could aim to keep it under 50, that would be really, really good. So I'm going to see if that's really realistic as I get further into the cost of raw materials. And speaking of all that, I'm going to move into the partner side for this video. And I do have a bunch of different layers, as I'm sure many of you guys do in your companies as well. Just so many layers of partners. Everywhere you look, you're like, oh yeah, I need to figure out how that's going to happen or how this is going to happen. So the main driver of partners that I started with in this was an e-commerce platform, because this is a web-based business. I'm not going to have traditional brick and mortar stores for my company. So I really need a good online platform that I can do a lot of different functions. I want to be able to do customer accounts where they obviously can upload their stuff. I want to be able to do payments. I want accounting software to be able to link into it. I want it to be user-friendly in terms of if I want to change, things quickly, if I want to edit the website, if I want to add fields, take away fields, get good sales data. So not just, financial data, but actually how many quantities, what are people interested in, what are your trends, Magento is one of the options that came up when I was researching e-commerce platforms, and this is actually one that I used back in 2011 when I worked for a company that was an online e-commerce based furniture company. So I actually thought it was pretty user friendly. So it's called Magento. And then I also found a platform called Customly, which actually does custom accounts for if people want to buy custom t-shirts or custom mugs and upload their own photos. Was a really common one for mugs. So again, it was limited to t-shirts though. So I feel like my more work wardrobe attire, as I was, showing you this more like polyester based clothes, I think that it's just really underrepresented when it comes to having any kind of personal access to submitting stuff. So Customly does have a partnership with Magento that you can kind of integrate the different platforms. So Customly is where people submit their own materials, and then Magento is kind of what Customly feeds into. So you can get your sales, and you get your shipping, and get your purchasing data. So really getting comfortable with how different platforms link together is what I was really nervous about at first, but it seems like this is already something that exists out there in terms of these different elements talking to each other and different capabilities. So that's where I'm going to be heading in terms of my e-commerce platform. And what else? Shipping Partners was another key partner because I am going to be doing a lot of volume in terms of sending out garments for samples. So even if I'm, not getting all these samples turned into sales, I'm still on the front end taking that risk to send it to people. So I really need a good shipping relationship set up. And I think because I am a startup, I'm not this normal size company working with another giant size company. I am pretty small. I need to probably start with someone who's an expert in shipping. For example, Shippo will get you good quantity discounts even though you're a small e-commerce platform. So working with a shipping partner that this is their expertise, I think will help me a lot in the beginning because, again, I don't have to be the expert at everything at this stage, or even at any stage do I have to be the expert at everything. But again, I want to be able to in the future grow to where I'm shipping enough to do my own negotiating for contracts with like UPS or USPS. But right now I think I'm going to use something like Shippo, where it will kind of let you get the benefit of quantity discounts without actually having to have that much quantity. And again, they're going to make some money, so I'll have to sell it to them about why it's good for them, but they actually already know why it's good for them, or else they wouldn't be reaching out to all these e-commerce people who are smaller scale. So shipping partners is important. Another thing, fabric suppliers of raw materials is very important. Primarily, I'm looking at polyester garments at this point because that is the common material used in a lot of the clothes that I'm targeting for right now. So polyester. If you do research on this, which is actually really interesting, I thought polyester actually mimics a lot of other fabrics, and it's pretty cost effective. So that's why it's used a lot. So you can treat it a number of different ways, so that it's different uses for you depending on what garment you're trying to make. So finding a good fabric supplier of polyester for now. I'm sure it's going to take a few other things as well, but my primary garments are going to be made out of that for now. And my next question, when I was doing all of this research on fabric, is how do you even make fabric? And I knew about screen printing, I knew about a couple different methods, but I was wondering, how can you take something that people are submitting digitally and make sure it gets printed correctly? And it turns out there are digital textile printers now, and they've been out for over a decade now. I remember doing research, and when it first came out, it was very inefficient. But this is something that there's been a lot of progress on in the last decade or so. So digital textile printing, you would need really good digital inputs for this. So that's where I need to get my parameters really outlined for my website about what is an acceptable submission. So that's something that I am working on right now to see what is actually the criteria for what can be submitted for digital printing. But these companies exist. They're in Pakistan, they're in Indonesia, and Malaysia, and the Philippines. So there's a lot of different options for textile printers. So I am excited to look more into which ones are going to meet my price, structure, and also who has good relationships with textile raw material providers, because you know that they kind of work together. They are, backwards integrated, but some of them I know have good relationships. So we'll see how that goes. And other key partners are customers turned suppliers. So these people who are submitting designs to get printed, who also maybe want to make some money off of their designs and people like them. So that is a key partner because it drives the traffic to my website and it drives the inventory. And also, one other thought I had regarding returns, and I was talking about this earlier, is TJ Maxx and Marshalls, stores like that could potentially be partners due to resale options. But at this point, I don't really know much about that process or if that's even worth trying to do with TJ Maxx and Marshalls, because I know that they still deal in large quantities, even if they're selling stuff that people don't want. So I don't have the pull of a department store in that scenario. That's just something else that came to mind. So partners has really kept me busy because there's so many different layers to it. So hopefully this helps clear up a little bit about who's working with who and what I'm actually going to need. So I hope that you guys are enjoying your videos as well. I can't wait to go look at them, and hopefully this kind of cleared up some Stitch Canvas questions you might have had. So see you guys next week.